Congressman Dan Fernandez, who chairs the House Committee on Public Order and Safety.
And Vice President Sara Duterte denies that the book she authored was plagiarized. She also says that she will be writing another book, this time about betrayal.
After a brief international manhunt, Alice Guo's sister, Sheila Leal Guo, and their business partner, Lucky South 99 representative Cassandra Leong, are back in the Philippines and in detention.
The two ladies arrived just before 5 p.m. this afternoon, escorted by officers from the Fugitive Search Unit, or FSU, of the Immigration Bureau. They were immediately whisked away to undergo medical examination and other legal processes.
Now, the two women slipped out of the country alongside Alice Guo, but were the only ones arrested at a shopping mall in Batam, Indonesia earlier this week. Camille Samonte with the big story tonight.
At 4:48 p.m., Sheila Leal Guo, Alice Guo's sister, and Cassandra Leong, Lucky South 99's authorized representative, landed in the country following their arrest in Indonesia. They were aboard PAL PR 540 from Jakarta. Drift immigration officials and police were seen heavily guarding the NAIA Terminal 1 ahead of the arrival of the two ladies who were mobbed when they landed. Sheila Guo was initially transported out of the airport in a wheelchair and into a bus. The two were nabbed by Indonesian immigration officials at Mega Mall Batam Center, a mall in Riau, Indonesia, on August 20, Tuesday. Based on intelligence gathered so far, the two and former Bamban Mayor Alice Guo entered Jakarta, Indonesia from Singapore through a cruise ship. Authorities, however, are still looking for Alice Guo. The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, or PAOC, released an alleged photo of Alice Guo together with another woman. PAOC said this was taken in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia last July 21 before Guo flew to Singapore.
Tutugma kasi yung mga timeline ng pictures at saka yung immigration records na nakuha natin doon sa Immigration Bureau netong Malaysia.
The agency is still trying to find out who is the woman in the picture with Guo. PAOC says Alice Guo's other sibling Wesley is still somewhere overseas, while the former Bamban mayor is likely still in Indonesia.
Si Alice Leal Guo ay hindi nila namataan kahapon hanggang kanina doon sa Batam, Indonesia. Pero wala rin silang sinabi na nakalabas na po ito ng bansa. So malakas ang aming paniniwala na si Alice Leal Guo, si Guwaping, nasa loob pa ng Indonesia.
Meanwhile, the DOJ said the arrest of Casiong proves the connection between the illegal pogo hubs in Bamban and in Pora.
Well, we found a connection between Alice Guo and Cassandra Leong. A definite connection that was found by our people. Which means that Bamban and Porac are closely related. And remember that despite all the denials of former Secretary Roque, it appears that they're really intimately related.
Alice Guo's two arrested companions were first brought to an immigration facility to undergo briefing, medical examination, and other legal processes. The DOJ said this is to determine whether the two violated any immigration law. Later on, they will be questioned by the NBI.
Questioning muna. We have to debrief them. Dapat malaman namin kung ano nangyari. We have to process them first. Saka na muna yung legislative investigation. We have to process everybody in accordance with the law. Dapat dyan yung rights inaano natin eh. We have to respect the rights of people.
The Senate Sergeant at Arms, meanwhile, is set to arrest Sheila Guo, who has been cited in contempt for skipping the chamber's hearings on pogos. She will be detained in the Senate for the meantime. As for Ong, the Senate is still looking into a possible motion to cite her in contempt. For News 5, Camille Samonte, we are One News.
So possible motion pa lang to cite her in contempt. So it's important to note that at this point, Sheila Guo and Cassandra Leong have not been charged any crimes. So they're being detained over their failure to appear before the summons of the legislative committees. Sheila's is covered by the Senate, while Cassandra was cited in contempt by the House earlier. But according to DOJ spokesman Attorney Miko Clavano, they will also be charged, the two women will also be charged with immigration violations. Clavano says Cassandra Leong will likely be charged with obstruction of justice too.
Ms. Guo will have to be under the custody of immigration dahil yung charge naman sa kanya po ay immigration violation.
Arrest warrant na po ba siya?
Well, the Senate has already, the House has already issued an order of arrest for her. However, we have to charge her with obstruction of justice, which is a crime we believe she has committed in this case. Kaya po, dadaan muna natin sa inquest proceedings over the weekend. Lahat po ng proseso na idadaan po ng dalawa, they will be presented in either the House or the Senate. The legal custody will have to be with immigration dahil po yung violation po niya ay violation of immigration laws.
So how are they nabbed by Indonesian authorities so quickly? Well, Bureau of Immigration Commissioner Norman Tansingco said they immediately coordinated with their counterparts in Indonesia upon learning that Ong and the three Guos, the other two being Alice and her brother Wesley, traveled to Batam, Indonesia on August 18. Indonesian immigration intelligence officers then immediately initiated an investigation on the group's whereabouts. They checked surveillance and searched through their foreigner reporting applications. By that point, the Guos and Ong were considered illegal aliens by Indonesian authorities since they were wanted in the Philippines. The women were captured at Mega Mall Batam Center, a mall in Riau, Indonesia, on the morning of Wednesday, August 21. Indonesian officers then detained them while waiting for Philippine immigration officials to arrive to escort the women back. Indonesian officers also said that there was a person named ZJ, a Singaporean citizen who booked 4 rooms at the Harris Hotel Batam Center for the last 3 days for their group. It was also found that Sheila Guo is 40 years old, while Cassandra Ong is 24.
Let's get some more updates on this still developing story. Allow me to bring in News 5's Brian Basa. Brian, hi. Good evening. Where are you right now? Are you outside the BI, the Bureau of Immigration in Intramuros?
Yes, Sean, good evening, ladies. The waiting game continues here at the Immigration Bureau headquarters in Intramuros. What we know so far from Justice Assistant Secretary Miko Clavano, Sheila Guo and Cassandra Ong will be transferred to the custody of the National Bureau of Investigation. Like you reported earlier, they're facing separate charges. Sheila Guo, Alice's sister, will be charged with immigration violations. Cassandra Ong will be charged with obstruction of justice and passport law violation and other crimes. Ase Clavano says the two were brought to the Immigration Bureau after their arrest so they could undergo due process before they appear at the House of Representatives and the Senate. Sheila Guo is facing an arrest order from the Senate, while Cassandra Ong is facing the same from the House. Ladies.
Brian, can we clarify? So after the Bureau of Immigration, they will be going to the NBI, which is in Quezon City. Now, earlier, DOJ Assistant Secretary Clavano had said na baka abutin sila ng buong weekend dyan. As we know, tomorrow is a long weekend, Monday also no work. What will happen to them? Will the processes be put on hold because it is a weekend tomorrow, or a long weekend and holiday tomorrow? Or will the authorities be working overtime to attend to this?
Let's go with the latter because the reason actually why they are going to be transferred to the custody of NBI is because if we heard it correctly earlier, tapos na ang inquest proceedings at ang medical examination kina Cassandra Ong at kay Sheila Guo. That's why they will be transferred immediately to the NBI because that's the original plan. After all, NBI will be taking custody of the two cohorts of dismissed Bamban Mayor Alice Guo. Ang hinihintay lang kanina actually was the presence of a lawyer of their choice. Kanina we saw Attorney Ferdinand Topacio. He will be representing Cassandra Ong. We do not know yet, no word yet on who will be representing Sheila Guo. Back to you.
Were you able to see either of the ladies, Cassandra Ong or Sheila Leal Guo? How did they seem to look? We have, of course, seen the photos that they released nung naka-face mask sila. We've also seen some video clips. One of them, of course, in a wheelchair after feeling faint. How are they now?
That's right, Sean. Yung naka-wheelchair, siya si Sheila Guo. siya yung sinasabi o napaulat na nahihilo o yung sumama yung pakiramdam kanina. According to Assistant Secretary Clavano, she must have been overwhelmed by the intense media presence earlier at the NAIA Terminal 1. Clavano says Sheila Guo might have not expected na maraming taong naghihintay sa pagbabalik nila sa Pilipinas. Kaya nagkaganon yung kanyang kondisyon. But he assures or he guarantees the media that Sheila Guo and Cassandra Ong are both in a stable medical condition. That's why they're ready to be transferred to the NBI. They were quickly escorted, though, away from the media and into the Immigration Bureau headquarters. That's why it was a bit difficult to catch a glimpse of the two because of the tight security, the heavy security, and the volume, really the number of officials who were there to escort them from the airport up to here at the Immigration Bureau headquarters. Ladies.
Actually, Brian, just one last very quick question. I know you also joined the convoy. Give us a sense about how many people were there really, and I mean we can see the videos, some of the shots that were taken on cell phones. It looks like there's a bit of a crush nga around them, right? They were mobbed essentially. Tapos sumunod pa kayo in a convoy. What was that like?
Oh, Regina, it was a bumpy ride from the airport papunta rito. Talagang I don't know if I should call it a media frenzy because you know, the media vans were racing just so they could get as close as possible to that minibus where the two ladies boarded. And from where we were earlier during that trip, it was a bit of there was a bit of a distance because there were several vehicles lined up. After that minibus, we saw vehicles from the police. So you saw members of the SWAT there, making sure that security is tight and up and running as they make their way to the immigration headquarters. We also saw several government vehicles. So safe to say that there is a lot of people. There are plenty of government officials, government officers who are there, making sure they're on top of the situation, making sure that Sheila Guo and Cassandra Ong will make it safely to the Immigration Bureau so that they could be transferred to the custody of the National Bureau of Investigation and eventually so that they could be presented to both chambers of Congress. Back to you.
That must have been hectic. All I can say is lucky you guys didn't pass through EDSA at that time. Otherwise, there would have been no change. Or I mean, maybe lucky for them.
It
right?
would have been such a bumpy ride.
It would have been just at a standstill.
All right, thank you so much for that update. News 5's Brian Basa joining us live from Intramuros outside the Bureau of Immigration.
Okay, here to talk more about what the lower house will do. We've got tonight Santa Rosa Congressman Dan Fernandez. Congressman Fernandez also chairs the House Committee on Public Order and Safety. Good evening, Congressman Fernandez. Thanks also for taking time out to talk to us. I can see you're in your vehicle. Stuck in traffic?
No. We're still here in the House of Representatives. We're still having a hearing right now.
Okay, perfect.
And we're not yet done with the Quadcom committee.
So you're...
Thank you for having me.
So you stepped away from the Quad Committee hearing. So okay, Alice go muna tayo in her case. You know that they will turn her companions over to the House soon. Specifically, si Cassandra Leong. What are you hoping to get out of her?
We're basically kasi we're trying to find out yung particularly dun sa sa Committee on Public Order and Safety, and now that we have this Quadcom committee, we're talking about the criminal elements that were perpetrated by these pogos that were allowed before, and apparently there are some illegal activities that were going on with the different pogos that were closed by the PAOK-TF. And basically, particularly in the public order and safety, we have seen so many foreigners were found na talagang victims of these illegal pogos. And we wanted to focus the responsibility and culpability of Cassandra Ong because she is one of the incorporators of the Lucky South 99 Incorporated. And at the same time, we wanted to collaborate the testimony of Ronelyn Baterna, who is the corporate secretary of the Lucky South 99, who have manifested in here that she was ordered by Cassandra to issue several checks amounting to millions of pesos. And we wanted to find out where this money came from. And apparently, as when we visited the Lucky South 99 in Porac and also in Banban, which were all connected, we found out several places where maybe drugs were already been found, and that's the reason why we created this Quadcom committee in order to find out the different issues that were all interconnected.
Right. That's exactly the interconnection I wanted to focus a bit on, Kong Dan. Of course, if you're watching this whole chase, and now that we have Sheila Go and Cassandra Ong back here, like I, for one, was kind of shocked to see that, oh, this is finally connected, and now the public can see that they actually do know each other, even though the other one is connected to Bamban more, and then Cassandra Ong is of course more associated with Lucky South in Porac, Pampanga. What is the connection between Alice Go and Cassandra Ong? How are they interconnected? What has the Quadcom found out about that relationship?
Well, basically, interconnected sila, excuse me, interconnected because of all the relationship, the personal relationship that they have, aside also from the yung nag-intertwine yung kanilang mga incorporators. Basically sa Banban, we have found out that the brother of Alice Go were somehow connected also with Cassandra Ong, who handles the Porac Pogo. And yun na nga, what we wanted to find out is who is really controlling them. Well, we all know that sa Banban it was Alice Go, and we still believe that there is somebody behind him, behind her, and as well as with Cassandra Ong. And if you will be able to see all the documents pertaining to their corporations, we will find out that initially there were Chinese incorporators. And what we wanted to find out was the real intention of these Chinese people who initially started these pogos. And basically, we can say that at first, these pogos were for the purpose of having an online gaming. But unfortunately, it evolved to something else. The lab scam, the investment scam, the different scam that they have perpetrated in these pogos make it more profitable for them. And yun na nga, what we wanted in this Quadcom, malaman po natin who are the Chinese personalities that are really behind of this scheme, making the properties owned by them, the criminal elements perpetrated by them, and that involvement of drugs as well.
Congressman, what do you mean Wesley is connected to Cassandra Ong? Do we know what the relationship there is?
Yeah, you mentioned it was a personal relationship. Are they friends? Are
Yes,
they,
no, the brother of Cassandra Ong, the brother of Alice Go, who is Wesley. It was well, not manifested, but in confidence was relayed to us that there is some relationship, personal relationship between them. And one of the links between the Pogo in aside from the documents and also the personal circumstances leads that these two Pogos are interrelated. And aside from that as well, you will be finding out that those construction and structure of all the buildings that were constructed in Pogos in Banban and Porac were somehow all the same ang structure nila. Kaya nga nang pumunta kami, we thought that the architecture and the engineering design that was used for both areas were somehow same contractor.
Na-verify niyo po ba yun, Kong? Same contractor or architect nga ba? Or hindi
Because
pa siya
we,
verified?
we we went there and we were able to find out yung different structure nila, almost the same sa Banban and also in Porac. But we're trying to get all the documents pertaining to that issue that it is that they have the same but for sure ang kanila pong contractor is Chinese. Ang kanilang architecture is also Chinese guy.
Okay, Congressman, with this latest development, do you think it's only a matter of time before Alice Guo is found, or do you think this will just push her further into hiding?
Well, for sure, lumiliit na mundo niya. And maybe she will still hide, but of course, eventually we will be able to capture her. And piece of advice to her that maybe it's better for her to cooperate with the Philippine government, because I'm pretty sure there's a much bigger forces that are really trying to find her. And at least kung nasa government side na po siya, ang Philippine government, we can protect her. And we will be able to find out, of course, who's the people behind her.
Okay. Kong Dan, with regard to, balikan natin, no, you mentioned the Quadcom hearing is still ongoing. It is past 8:30 p.m. Until what time are you guys planning to go? May plano po ba kayo din hantayin si Cassandra na dumating po dyan sa premises po ng House?
No. Wala naman po. We're talking a lot of things about yung issues sa EJK and also yung mga different properties that was secured by the Whirlwind Corporation and the Lucky South 99. Actually, we will be trying to secure the presence of Cassandra on Tuesday, most likely on Tuesday, because we will be having a committee hearing on Tuesday. So no rush for her to be here, and we will be respecting the approach of the OJ to gather first all the information that they wanted to get from Cassandra Leong.
I was watching the proceedings this afternoon, actually. It's pretty long. But I know you already cited former spokesman Harry Roque in contempt for lying about why he missed the first hearing, and you're looking to detain him for the next 24 hours. Are you not getting what you need or what you think should be the truth from out of Mr. Roque?
Well, it's a collective decision of the Quadcom, and we have suspended the hearing so many times to discuss thoroughly the issue of Secretary Harry Roque being a former member of this House. But of course, we have to follow the rules, and we cited him in contempt. And since the apology that was manifested by Attorney Harry was accepted by the members of the Quad Committee, it doesn't entail that we will divert from the rules that we are following, and that's the reason why we meted out a minimum penalty to Harry Roque.
Attorney Roque is, of course, the one who accompanied Cassandra Leong to PAGCOR, as narrated by PAGCOR Chair Al Tenco. Are you also looking to draw out that connection?
Well, yes. Na-establish naman po here in Congress that the client and lawyer and a client relationship was there, citing different provisions of the Supreme Court. Marami na po mga decision ng Supreme Court telling us that once that you have started a consultation, even without a proper documentation, it starts already a client and a lawyer relationship. And aside from that relationship that Harry Roque have with Cassandra Leong, we're trying to establish also the deeper interconnection of the Whirlwind Corporation, which is being headed by Cassandra Leong, and the Lucky South 99, because you have to understand that the Lucky South 99 is the one being given by PAGCOR of a license to operate, and the Whirlwind Corporation is the one handling the development of the area of the Pogo Hub, and basically they have established here in our Quadcom that incorporators of the Whirlwind and the incorporators of the Lucky South nag-i-inter twine yung kanilang mga incorporators, and thereby trying to solicit a deception, not only to the government, but to the public in totality. So bali we wanted to really find out that people behind these all corporations that are operating these illegal pogos are being perpetrated by Chinese personalities. Kasi we don't believe that these Filipinos are really directly managing the operation. It is all the Chinese people.
Okay, Kung Dan, related to that, another interconnection, no? And another goal of the Squadcom is to make a connection to the illegal drug trade here in the Philippines, right? I believe the Senate, in their own investigation, have kind of made some small connections to between the drug trade and illegal pogos. Have you guys uncovered more of the same to back up that connection? What have you guys found out in Quadcom?
Well, actually, we started this investigation a year ago. When I started with my own committee, we were able to establish the bypass operation that being conducted by the different PNP officials, and we found out na talagang peke yung kanilang mga ginagawang bypass, no? And doon naman po sa public accounts, we were able to find out that all the thousand of hectares are being bought by the Chinese, pure Chinese people in violation of our constitution. And doon sa hearing namin na sa public accounts, merong common denominator that always exists, no? Ito yung si Michael Yang. And Michael Yang is we all know, a presidential advisor of the former President Duterte, and at the same time, he was accused of so many illegal drug trades. And during the investigation of the dangerous drugs, we were able also to investigate or find out that there is also a Michael Yang that always exists. So basically, doon po nag-focus yung aming investigation, why there are common denominator between these four committees, and it involves the buying of properties by the foreigners, by the Chinese, and trying to import illegal drugs with this person as well, Michael Yang. And doon naman sa Pogo that I am investigating under my committee, the brother of Michael Yang is having a bank transaction with Alice Go. So malilink mo na yung drugs that are being forced to enter in our country with these pogos that are being established in our different parts of this country. And basically, we are so happy that these pogos were stopped dahil at least may stop na po natin yung illegal elements that were perpetrated, and at the same time itong exchange of different money that entails different kind of criminal elements.
I know that you're also inviting the former president to your next hearing, so we'll keep an eye out for that. We'll leave that there for tonight. Thank you so much for stepping away from the committee hearings for us. That was Santa Rosa Representative and House Public Order and Safety Panel Chair, Congressman Dan Fernandez.
Meanwhile, the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission filed a motion to block Alice Guo's counter-affidavit at the DOJ. PAOK said it's doubtful Guo appeared before the notary public last week, so the document is not valid.
Kami ay hindi naniniwala that she physically appeared before Attorney Elmer Galicia, no? Na para i-subscribe, mag-swear doon sa kanyang counter-affidavit tinatawag. So we're asking the panel of prosecutors to throw out that particular counter-affidavit.
Guo is facing a qualified human trafficking complaint filed by PAOK and the PNP, aside from tax evasion filed by the BIR. Her team today also filed an appeal to COMELEC to extend the deadline for her to file her counter-affidavit, this time over the charges that she misrepresented herself as a Filipino in her voting records. The deadline to file was supposed to be August 27, but now they're asking for an extension until September 1st.
After this quick break, publishers are raising concerns over the children's book authored by Vice President Sara Duterte. One of them is China Patria de Vera, whom we will be speaking to when the big story returns. Don't miss that conversation. Keep it here on One News.
Welcome back. You are watching the big story here on One News. Vice President Sara Duterte is not taking critiques of her children's book well, especially over the insinuation that she's guilty of plagiarism. In a statement today, the VP said that there's no need to resort to copying others' works since anyone can easily write a short story based on her experiences. She went on to defend the book she authored called Isang Kaibigan, or A Friend, saying it's meant to inspire children to read about and write their own stories. For her, the country's problem is not the lack of books, but the difficulty in reading amongst school children. The last line of the Vice President's statement reads, "Abangan nyo ang susunod kong isusulat na libro tungkol sa pagtataksil ng isang kaibigan." Meantime, book publisher and former National Book Development Board Executive Director Andrea Pasion Flores said there's a problem with the VP's book. It's not something that a child should read on his or her own.
So it could be a read-along book where you have the child on the lap of the mom or the dad or a kuya or ate, and they go through the story together. And I feel that's important because of the topic of the book. The book has a tragedy, no? Very, very tragic yung nangyari yata dito sa Quago, no? Nasira yung bahay niya ng isang unos. So that has to be explained to a young child, no?
It's not just the content that has a lot of people up in arms over the book authored by the Vice President. There's also the question of cost, 10 million pesos to print and distribute the book, with the money coming out of taxpayers' pockets. Let's get the insights of another publisher on this. We have with us tonight China Patria de Vera, who runs Aklat Alamid, an independent children's book publishing house. China is also a member of the indie publishers Collab Philippines. China, good evening. Thanks for being with us.
Yes, good evening. Apologies because I'm on the road, so it might be a little bit blurry and I might not be that clear, but I'm gonna try my best.
That's all right. We can hear you fine for now. So let's start from a broad overview. What seems to be the problem with this book for you?
The issue here is that the book, you know, it is clear that children's book is the first book that ang mga bata, so I'm gonna speak Filipino now. Ang mga bata, yan yung una nilang libro, ano? So that's this is the first book of
China,
the children.
hi.
We must make sure that the quality of the books are good, no? So like what quality books. So if we don't the standards ay maging problematic. So, with that, mahalaga talaga yung pagtitiyak ng kalidad, no? At pagdaan nito sa mga workshop or palihan, no? Number one yun. And number two, issue here is that we are children's book writers and publishers, independently publishing our books. We wanted to also, like what she said earlier, no, or yesterday, we also wanted to share our mga stories, but the thing is we don't have enough support, and I think this is a privilege coming from her end kasi number one, I think there's a line agencies na dapat yun sana ang mag-offer, at least kung talagang ang internet
Okay, the line is not holding up well while she's in transit. Nevertheless, I think we got what we needed out of her. She believes that the vice president is abusing her privilege, being a high-ranking government official, and that it did not follow the usual process for children's book vetting. We're going to have to leave that there. That was China Patria de Vera, runs Aklat Alamid, an independent children's book publishing house.
All right, now on to another Duterte. This time, the vice president's father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, being tagged in the murder of 3 alleged drug lords. The supposed hitmen, detainees of a prison located in the Duterte's bailiwick, Davao. The full story from Marian Enriquez.
They're the so-called new witnesses of the House Squad Committee. Fernando Magdadaro and Leopoldo Tan are persons deprived of liberty, or PDLs, now confessing to the killing of 3 suspected Chinese drug lords at the Davao Prison and Penal Farm in August of 2016. And their story goes all the way up to then President Rodrigo Duterte. Tan's account begins with SPO4 Arthur Narsolis approaching him for the hit 8 years ago. Narsolis was a high school classmate of Tan's and at that time was assigned to the CIDG Region 11. The targets, Chinese nationals and supposed drug lords Cho Kin Tong alias Tony Lim, Jackson Lee, and Peter Wang, who are all detained at the Davao Prison's maximum security facility compound. The reward, 1 million pesos for each victim and Tan's freedom.
Sinabi niya na may ipatatrabaho ako sa iyo at may basbas sa taas. Baka matulungan ka rin namin na makalaya. Kakausapin ko namin ang presidente. Sinabi pa ni SPO4 Arthur Narsolis na ang mga Chinese na mga ito ay drug lords at galit ang presidente sa kanila.
Eventually, Tan accepted the job and brought in Magdadaro. Tan went on that on August 13, 2016, he and Magdadaro were placed in a smaller prison cell along with the 3 Chinese nationals. The mayor of the PDL in charge of the cell allegedly gave Tan and Magdadaro the knives used to stab the victims to death. After the killings, Davao Prison's Warden Superintendent Gerardo Padilla supposedly told the 2 PDLs to throw the murder weapons right outside the cell and walk them out of it. Then, a conversation between Padilla and the supposed mastermind of the crime.
Habang naglalakad kami papuntang investigation section, tumunog ang cellphone ni Superintendent Padilla. Nakita ko na pinindot ni Superintendent Padilla ang kanyang cellphone. Nadinig ko na sinabi nung tumawag kay Superintendent Padilla, "Congrats, Superintendent Padilla. Job well done." Pero grabe yung ginawa, dinuguan. Alam ko na ang kausap ni Superintendent Padilla ay si President Duterte dahil pamilyar ko ang boses niya.
Nakakausap mo ba si President Duterte?
Naririnig ko lang lagi yung boses niya, kaya pamilyar yung boses na narinig ko.
Sige, patuloy lang.
Pagkatapos ng tawag, sabi ni Superintendent Padilla sa mga kasamahan niya doon, tumawag si Presidente nag-congrats sa akin. Dahil sa sinabing ito ni Superintendent Padilla, kaya lalo akong napaniwala na ang tumawag sa kanya ay si President Duterte.
According to Tan, Narsolis dropped by the prison 2 days after the murder to talk about the reward, which will be handed over to their spouses. Tan and Magdadaro later on learned that the bounty was 1 million pesos short and both remained in jail.
Nakumbik kami sa pagpatay sa 3 Chinese drug lord. Ibinigay ko itong salaysay na ito dahil sa galit ko sa kanila. Ginawa naman naming ang pinatrabaho nila pero hindi naman tinupad ang kalayaan na pinangako. Hanggang matapos ang administrasyon, hindi kami tinulungan na lumabas.
With this development, the Quad Committee moved to summon former President Duterte to their next hearing.
In the interest of fairness, may I move to invite the former President to hear his side on this matter.
Duly seconded and hearing no objection, the motion is carried.
But it remains to be seen if Duterte will attend the probe. According to his former chief legal counsel, Attorney Sal Panelo, this is a clear demolition job against Duterte and his family. He says the use of convicted felons to testify against the former president is the work of enemies. Aside from Duterte, personalities tagged by the Quad's 2 new witnesses will also get invitations to appear before the next hearing next week. For now, Tan and Magdadaro will remain in the custody of the House of Representatives, as approved by the Bureau of Corrections. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
We're pausing for another quick break. Right after that, Houthi rebels attack a Filipino crude ship in the Red Sea, causing severe damage and leaving the vessel adrift. The details when the big story returns. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You are still watching the big story here on One News. Yemen's Houthi rebels attacked a Filipino crude oil tanker in the Red Sea. The Greek-flagged MT Sonyon was reportedly hit by 3 missiles that damaged the engine of the ship. With no power, the ship remained adrift and was unable to continue its voyage. The Department of Migrant Workers assured public that the 23 Filipino Or 17 Filipinos were taken hostage after the Houthis seized their ship in the Red Sea. The government continues to negotiate for their release.
And 2 cities in Metro Manila have reached their alert threshold for dengue cases. Now, what does an alert threshold actually mean?
Ayon nga dun sa termino na alert threshold, ito ay nagtatawag na ng pansin sa ating mga local health officials na huy, may kailangan ng gawin or meron ng sitwasyon na maaaring namumuo. So pag sinabing lumampas sa alert thresholds, hindi pa siya necessarily epidemic.
Mandaluyong and Marikina have seen spikes in cases, with Marikina logging 429 cases from January to August 10, from 279 cases during the same period last year. Mandaluyong, meanwhile, has recorded 226 cases for the same period. As for the entire NCR, 10,102 cases have been recorded. Most patients are children between 5 to 9 years old. The DOH has so far recorded 150,354 dengue cases nationwide.
On to sports now. President Bongbong Marcos today met with golfer Dottie Ardina and gymnasts Alea Finnegan, Emma Malabuyo, and Levi Jong Rivivar. The four women, along with golfer Bianca Pagdanganan, who is currently training overseas, missed the hero's welcome for the Philippine delegation in Paris 2024 on August 13. The five Olympians, according to the president, were unable to attend the first ceremony due to prior commitments and a mix-up in communication. The president expressed regret that they missed the parade, but was pleased that they were able to be honored in this way. Like the other non-medalists, they will each receive 2 million pesos from the Office of the President and PAGCOR.
Pareho naman yung kanilang pinaghirapan. So dapat din natin, isama rin natin doon sa lahat ng mga pagtanggap sa ating mga Olympian na ating ginawa. Sayang lang, hindi nila naabutan yung parada. Pero at least lahat ng everything else nagawa nila. So we're happy we were able to do something extra for those that did not make it to the first one.
And more incentives for Golden Boy Carlos Yulo, this time from none other than sports patron and PLDT chairman Manny V. Pangilinan. In line with his consistent support to Philippine sports, Pangilinan gave a cash reward of 10 million pesos to Yulo and 2 million pesos each to bronze-winning boxers Nesty Petesio and Ira Villegas. Yulo's coaching staff, meanwhile, also netted 5 million total from Pangilinan, while the boxers' mentors received 2 million pesos collectively. Now, all in all, Yulo has received over 100 million pesos in total incentives.
The real credit belongs to them. So it's their effort, it's their discipline, it's their sacrifice. Since 2016, we've been there, and despite his performance in Tokyo, we stood behind him because we felt that he had the potential to, at the time, from the very start to win a medal for the Philippines. So nandun kami, and not only with Kaloy but with the other athletes.
The 24-year-old gymnast is already thinking about returning to training later this year. This is in preparation for the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. And one of Kaloy's aspirations is to create his own gymnastics element or move that will be named after him.
Kailangan ko rin po mag-explore kasi very not sustainable po kasi yung mga ganong bagay din. Kasi hindi siya palagi nako-compete po and kailangan unique din po yung may pakita akong skill. So yeah, tatry ko po.
All right, can't believe the Olympics is still not over. So cash prizes keep rolling in for Golden Boy Carlos Yulo. But before we go, it was also a rather busy day for our Olympic bronze medalists, Nesty Petesio and Ira Villegas, who were both warmly welcomed in their hometowns. Petesio reunited with her family after arriving in Davao City before attending a homecoming event organized by the local government unit of Santa Cruz in Davao del Sur. A short program was held to celebrate Petesio's achievement. She was also presented with a certificate of appreciation and a cash donation totaling 850,000 pesos. This was contributed by LGU employees. Nesty expressed her gratitude to her family and to everyone who has supported her career. For now, Nesty intends to take a break from boxing until December.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat, lalo na sa pagpupuyat ninyo nung madaling araw yung labang ko. Suportahan niyo po ako patungong LA.
And fellow bronze medalist Ira Villegas was also given a hero's welcome in Tacloban. Villegas also toured the downtown area, heading towards San Jose and then returning to City Hall. The LGU of Tacloban presented the Olympic bronze medalist with a 2 million peso incentive.
Thank you, sobrang suporta na kami tanang Taclobanon yung waray-waray, labinaan. Nagkita na ko mula, bisan madaling araw na. Share ko lang pa, hatanan ko nga mag-aatid. May pangarap ko bilang atid. Never stop dreaming ko, pero yun nga, work and prayer.
Ira, of course, I just remembered reading that she plans to share some of her prize money to help less fortunate boxers.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, like with uniforms and whatnot.
I find it so poetic that we ended the show with a hero's welcome and started it with the fugitives welcome, shall we say? Isn't it? So at the end of the show, we were seeing images of the Olympians coming home, coming back home, being welcomed like heroes. And at the start of it, with images at the start of the show, we opened with, crazy airport scenes awaiting the arrival of.
If you had no context, and if your TV set was on mute, you would be confused as to what was happening.
Yeah, maybe if you were a visitor and you hadn't followed the news, you'd be wondering, why is it always so chaotic? Why are people always mobbing other people in the Philippines? But it's pretty funny. But I like also what you said about how nice it was for President Marcos to still host a separate welcome ceremony for the gymnasts.
Yeah, it was really nice of him, He didn't have to do that. He could have just handed them the cash somehow. But it was so nice to have them, have the remedial makeup session for the missed.
They did mention it's something that's very important for them to be recognized. It's once in a lifetime, right? And they don't know if they'll come back for another Olympics, so just getting that recognition is so important. And I also liked the athletes, Nesty, Ira, and Kaloy taking a much-deserved break. They did say they're taking a break until December, so after years and years of always training, I guess.
But you know what's weird about that? Is if I don't know, maybe I don't have the Olympic mindset, but I would not go back to training in December. I would probably wait till January, along with the rest of the resolution.
Enjoy Christmas, that's right. Enjoy all the feasting, that's right. You've earned it. That's right. But lovely to see all our Olympians getting recognized, getting, and also the additional incentives for Carlos and his coaching team. I hope it does, get passed around, gets filtered through to everyone who helped him win the double gold.
Right, and also for this to just be the beginning of our sports and Olympic journeys of winning more medals.
It's a cute, it's a wonderful dream to have a move named after him. Kind of like how Simone Biles has the Biles.
Right? She has how many Biles? It's not just one. I think she has 5 moves named after.
But so far, only Simone Biles is able to do the Biles. So maybe one day, only
we'll have
Carlos will be able to do the Yulo. The Yulo.
Until
it's got a nice ring to it, the Yulo.
And also, of course, it is a long weekend tomorrow. No work. Also on Monday. But for this Thursday night, that's it from the big story. We will still be on air, though, tomorrow night.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.